The shiny white floors of Bruce Industries sparkled under the warm afternoon sun. The sun came in through huge windows that went from the floor all the way to the ceiling. The big meeting room on the 42nd floor looked very fancy. Everything in the room looked rich and clean. The glass cups looked brand new. The big leather chairs looked super expensive, and the view of the tall buildings in Manhattan reached all the way to the Hudson River. Caius Bruce stood near the window. He was very tall and wore a dark gray suit that cost more than many people make in 3 months. His dark hair was nicely brushed, and his big shoulders looked tight like he was thinking hard. Caius was 38 years old and had everything money could buy, except one thing: a child. "She should be here any moment," said his mother, Victoria Bruce. She sat at the long wooden table. Victoria was 72 years old, but still looked elegant in her dark blue suit. Her white hair was styled neatly, and she wore shiny pearls around her neck like armor. "The agency said she meets all our needs." Caius turned around and looked at his mother. His gray eyes showed no feelings, even though his heart was full of confusion. "Needs," he said, not liking the word. "It sounds like we're hiring someone for a job, like not asking someone to carry my baby." "That's exactly what we're doing," Victoria said firmly. She fixed a stack of papers in front of her. "This is business, Caius, nothing more. You need to understand that." But understanding something doesn't always mean you agree with it. Caius had built his company by being smart and serious. He thought about people like numbers, what he could gain or lose. But this felt different. Maybe it was because he really wanted a child. That he had been married 3 times, but each woman only wanted his money. None wanted to have a family with him. Maybe he was scared that one day he would die and leave behind only buildings and bank accounts. Nothing personal, nothing real. A soft knock on the door pulled him out of his thoughts. "Come in," he said. The door opened, and Caius felt his heart stop for a second. She wasn't what he expected. Alara Williams walked into the room calmly, even though she looked tired. She was 24 years old, with pretty brown skin that glowed even though her eyes looked tired. Her long hair was in braids down her back, and she wore a purple jacket that looked old and a bit too big for her. But Caius noticed her pride. She held her head high even though her hands were twisting nervously. There was something strong and smart in her eyes. She looked like someone who had been through hard times but didn't give up. "Miss Williams," Victoria said with a polite smile as she stood up, "please have a seat." "Thank you, Mrs. Bruce," Alara said quietly. She looked at Caius, and their eyes met. He saw something honest in her gaze, not like other women who only saw him as rich. "Mr. Bruce," she said, and held out her hand. When their hands touched, Caius felt something surprising. Her hand was soft but rough too, like someone who had worked hard all her life. "Miss Williams, please sit," he said. Alara sat down across from them. Her back was straight, even though her hands trembled a little. Caius watched her closely, trying to see if she was hiding something. But he didn't see lies. He only saw honesty and someone who had faced many tough days. "The agency explained everything?" Victoria asked in a businesslike voice. "Mr. Bruce needs someone to carry his baby. That you will be paid $500,000 and will pay all medical bills and living costs during the pregnancy." Alara's eyes widened a bit, and Caius saw her take a deep breath. "Yes, ma'am. They told me everything," she said softly. "Good," said Victoria. "We just have a few more questions. You're in perfect health. No problems. No bad habits. The mental health check came back great, too." "The agency was very careful," Alara said quietly. Caius leaned forward. "Miss Williams, can I ask why you decided to do this? Being a surrogate, carrying someone else's baby, is a big choice." Alara's face changed a little. She looked sad but strong. "Let me know if you want it continued or simplified." "My mom," she said. "She has stage 4 cancer. The medicine she needs is very expensive. Insurance won't pay for it. But there's a special treatment that might help her live longer. It costs more than I could make in 10 years. Her words hit Caius hard. She didn't want money for nice things. She just wanted to save her mom. "I'm sorry," he said, and he meant it. "That must be very hard." Alara looked at him, surprised by his kindness. "She's all I have," she said. "I'll do anything to help her." Victoria looked uncomfortable with all the feelings in the room. "Yes, well, we're sorry about your mother. Now let's talk about the legal side." "Wait," Caius said, raising a hand. Something in her file didn't make sense. "Miss Williams, your medical papers say you've never been pregnant?" "That's right," she said. "But have you talked to a doctor about your ability to get pregnant?" Alara's face turned red. "The agency made me take a full test. Everything was normal." Victoria looked through the papers. "Yes, here it is. She's in excellent health. No problems expected." She paused and looked again. Although what?" Caius asked. "Well, this is surprising," Victoria said. "The doctor wrote that Miss Williams has never been sexually active." The room got very quiet. Alara's face turned redder, but she held her head high. "Is that a problem?" she asked. Caius felt like the ground shifted beneath him. "You're a virgin," he said. "Yes," she answered. Her voice was calm, not ashamed or embarrassed. Victoria blinked, still staring at the paper. "That's very rare for someone your age." "I've been busy," Alara said. "School, work, taking care of my mom. I never met someone worth that gift." Gift. The word stayed in Caius's mind. Alara was willing to give up something very special, something she had protected for 24 years, just to save her mother. Caius felt sick inside. What kind of man takes that from someone? What would you do, he thought, if someone gave up something so personal just to save their family? Let me know what you think Caius should do. The room stayed silent after Alara's words. Caius couldn't stop thinking about what she said. 24 years old, a virgin, willing to give up something special to save her mom. The sunlight made long shadows across the floor. In the golden light, Alara looked even younger, more innocent. Victoria finally spoke. "Well, it's unexpected, but it doesn't change the plan." Caius watched Alara's face. He saw her trying to stay calm, even though this was probably very hard for her. "No," Alara said. "It doesn't change anything. The doctor said it wouldn't cause problems. My lack of experience won't stop me from carrying a baby." She said it in a very serious, almost cold way, like it was just a doctor's visit. "Miss Williams," Caius said, his voice a little rough, "do you understand what this means?" She looked right at him. Her eyes were brave. "I'm not a child, Mr. Bruce. I understand." "Do you?" he asked. "This process isn't easy. You'll be poked, tested, touched by doctors. You've never gone through anything like this." Alara blushed, but didn't look away. "I know," she said. "You want to know if I really thought about this? If I know what I'm giving up?" "Yes," Caius said. Alara stayed quiet for a moment, then she spoke clearly. "Mr. Bruce, I've worked since I was 16. I've cleaned offices at night. I worked at a diner where old men thought they could touch me just because I needed the tips. I've had my car taken away, my lights turned off. I've eaten noodles for weeks." Her voice was steady but strong. "So yes, I know what I'm giving up, and I know why I'm doing it. My mother is dying. Every day that passes, I lose time with her. If I have to go through this to help her, I will." Caius felt his heart hurt. She had lived a life he couldn't imagine. She was ready to give up her first time for something that wouldn't even be special, just medical, cold, like a machine. "But don't you want?" he began. Then he stopped. "Want what?" she asked. "Your first time. Don't you want it to be with someone you love?" Something showed in her eyes, maybe pain, maybe sadness. "Mr. Bruce, when you grow up like I did, you learn that wanting and getting are not the same. I wanted to go to college. I wanted my mom to be healthy. I wanted lots of things, but I didn't get them. So now I want what I can get." Her words made Caius's heart ache. He had always gotten what he wanted. She hadn't. Victoria cleared her throat. "Now that we know Ms. Williams understands everything, let's sign the papers." "Actually," Caius said, his voice sharp, "we need to talk about the timing." Alara sat up straighter. The agency said you wanted to start right away. That's right, Caius said, walking to the window again. The city was very big and busy. That Caius stood at the top of a tall building, looking down at all the people. So many people were living their lives, all with their own problems. He thought, how many people have to make a hard choice like Alara? He looked at her and asked, how fast do you need the money? It sounded like a tough question, but he had to ask. He needed to know how serious the problem was. Alara looked sad. The doctors want to start my mom's treatment next month. But if I don't pay in 2 weeks, they'll give her place to someone else. 2 weeks. Caius closed his eyes. That was so soon. Alara was ready to give up something really important just to save her mom. He asked gently, how much do you need for the first payment? $50,000, she said. Caius was shocked. That was less than what he spent on wine in a month or what he paid for his fancy watch. But for Alara, it meant her mother might live or die. Miss Williams, he said kindly, can you give us a moment? I need to speak with my mother alone. Alara looked confused but nodded. Of course, I'll wait outside. After she left and softly closed the door, Caius's mother, Victoria, looked at him. What are you doing, Caius? Caius was walking back and forth. He looked upset. Did you see her face, Mom? Did you hear her story? I heard a young woman who's ready to follow the contract we offered. I don't know why her personal life matters, she said. Caius shouted, it matters because she's a person, not a machine. He couldn't stay calm anymore. She's 24 years old and never been with a man before. She's worked so hard taking care of her sick mother, and now she's ready to let doctors do a procedure that would be her first and only private moment, just to save her mom. Victoria looked at him carefully. You're getting emotional? You're right, I am. Caius hit the glass window. It made a loud sound. Now, do you know what kind of man I'd be if I agreed to this? I'd be a monster, someone who takes from a girl who's scared and desperate. You're not taking from her, Victoria said. You're giving her money for what she's doing. Caius turned to her. Mom, we're talking about her body, her first time, her innocence, and you call that services rendered? Victoria's voice softened a little. Caius, I understand your feelings. No, you don't, he said firmly. You don't understand at all. If you did, you wouldn't be sitting here talking about contracts while she's out there, ready to give up everything for love. That word, love, was the truth behind it all. Alara loved her mom so much, she was ready to give up her dreams and her future just to save her. And what was Caius doing? He was offering money in a deal that made something so private feel like a job. He thought to himself, what would I give up for someone I loved? He walked to his desk and took out his checkbook. His hands were strong, but his heart was beating fast. What are you doing? Victoria asked. What I should have done the moment I heard her story, Caius said. He ripped out a check, looked at it, and folded it carefully. I'm making a big choice. Think about this, Victoria said. You've wanted a child for years. This is your best chance. Caius shook his head. No, my best chance isn't using a desperate girl. My best chance is being someone who protects people like her. He stopped at the door. You know what I realized while she was talking about giving up her dreams? That I've spent my life taking people's companies, their time, their work. I never thought about what I could give. You give a lot through your charity, she said. That's just money, he said. Real giving means you feel it. It means putting others first. And you think that's what this is? She asked. I think this is the first real choice I've ever made. He opened the door. Alara was sitting outside, looking tired but sitting tall. She looked up, and he saw hope and fear in her eyes. Miss Williams, can you come back in, please? She followed him, walking slowly. Victoria was still sitting at the table. Please sit, Caius said. Alara sat down and looked at him, trying to understand what had happened. Miss Williams? Caius started, but stopped. How do you tell someone that their story changed you? Is there a problem with the deal? she asked, quietly. Yes, he said. Her face turned pale, her hands squeezed together. I'm sorry if I said something wrong. I promise I'll do what the contract says. I won't change my mind. Her voice sounded so scared it hurt Caius's heart. Alara, he said, using her name for the first time. You didn't do anything wrong. You did everything right. You showed me what kind of person you are, and what kind of man I've been. She looked confused. He pulled out the check. You came here ready to give something very personal to save your mom. You were going to let doctors do a medical procedure that would be your first private moment, all for love. Yes, she said softly, and I was ready to take that from you. I was going to use your love for your mom to get what I wanted. He looked down. That makes me a bad man, someone who uses other people's pain. Mr. Bruce, I don't understand, she whispered. He held out the check. I'm saying your mom is going to get her treatment, but not because you gave up anything. She'll get it because you showed me what love really means. She stared at the check, but didn't take it. What is this? It's a check for $200,000. That's enough for all of your mom's treatment. Her face turned white. I can't take this. We didn't sign anything. I haven't done anything to earn it. You don't need to earn it. It's not a payment. It's a gift. I don't understand, she said softly. Why would you give this to me? Caius knelt beside her so their eyes were level. You showed me something today I had forgotten. That real love is when you give everything for someone else. Tears filled her eyes. But the surrogacy. There will be no surrogacy, Alara. Not with you. I won't let you give away your first private moment for money. That moment should be for someone you choose, someone you love, when you're ready. Now the tears rolled down her face. I don't know what to say, she cried. Say you'll take the money and help your mom. Say you'll go back to school. Say you'll keep your dreams. Her hands shook as she looked at the check. This is real? You're really giving me this? I am. And why? Because you reminded me that I've never used my money or power to help someone. Not really. And someone like you, someone who loves so deeply, deserves to be protected. Alara reached for the check, her fingers trembling. Thank you. I don't know how to thank you enough. You don't need to thank me, Caius said. Just go save your mom. Behind them, Victoria had been quiet the whole time. When Caius turned to her, he saw something in her eyes, maybe pride. Well, she said softly, I guess we'll have to find another way for you to have a child. Caius looked at Alara. Maybe, but maybe I needed to learn how to protect and love first. Victoria smiled at her son, really smiled, for the first time in years. Maybe you did. Later that night, they went to a restaurant. It was quiet and fancy, with soft lights and white tablecloths. Alara sat across from Caius and Victoria. She had changed into a black dress that made her look strong and beautiful. Victoria asked kindly, Tell me about yourself, Alara. Not just about today, but your life. Alara sat up tall. There's not much to tell. I grew up in Brooklyn with my mom. My dad left when I was 8. My mom worked 2 jobs to take care of me. That must have been hard, Victoria said softly. It was. But my mom is amazing. She always said it was his loss. She taught me that it's your choices that matter, not your situation. She looked at Caius. She always told me, if you can help someone, you should. Those words hit Caius like a hammer. How many times had he not helped when he could? She sounds like a wonderful woman, he said. She is. She worked as a nurse's assistant at a free clinic for 15 years. Even when she was sick, she kept going on good days. She said the people needed her. Alara's voice cracked a little. She taught me that love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice you make every day to put someone else's needs before your own. Victoria put down her glass of grape juice and looked at Alara with a smile. What about you? She asked kindly. What did you want to be when you were a kid? Alara smiled a little. I wanted to be a teacher, she said. I wanted to help kids who had hard lives like I did. But then my mom got very sick and I couldn't go to college anymore. She shrugged her shoulders like it didn't matter, but Caius could tell it still hurt her. Life changes your plans sometimes, she said quietly, but you still want to start that special school and help people, don't you? Caius asked. Yes, she said, more than ever. After what I saw today, families with no money, no help, just like we were, I want to make sure no one has to choose between their pride and saving someone they love. Her voice was strong and serious. Caius felt chills on his skin. She was talking about how hard it had been to almost give everything up for her mom. That moment had brought her into his life and changed everything. That's a beautiful dream, Victoria said gently, and Caius could hear that she really meant it. And if you have the right people helping you, it could make a big difference. Alara looked at both of them, confused. The right people? Caius leaned closer and looked at her kindly. Alara, what if I told you that Bruce Industries is looking for someone just like you? Someone who understands the problem because they lived it. Someone who cares and wants to help make things better. Alara blinked. That sounds too good to be true, she said slowly. It's not, Caius said. Sometimes the right people meet at the right time. He paused and looked at her face. But first, there's something I'd like to do, if it's okay with you. What is it? She asked. I want to meet your mother, tonight if possible. Alara stopped eating and stared at him. You want to meet my mom? Yes, I want to meet the woman who raised someone as amazing as you. I want to see the person we're trying to help. Alara looked surprised. Or maybe it was something deeper. She's not what you might expect, she said slowly. What do you mean? He asked. She's changed a lot. The cancer, the medicine, it made her weak. She's not as strong as she used to be. She gets tired very easily now, Alara said in a soft voice. I don't want you to think badly of her because she's sick. Caius's heart felt tight. Even now, Alara wanted to protect her mom. Alara, he said kindly, I would never think badly of someone for being sick. I want to meet her because she raised you, because she taught you how to love, because without her, you wouldn't be sitting here with me right now. Alara's eyes filled with tears. She's going to want to say thank you. She'll want to give you something, and it'll make her sad that she can't. Then we'll show her she already gave me something, Caius said gently. She gave me you. 1 hour later, they stood outside Brooklyn Methodist Hospital. The building looked old, and Caius could tell it didn't have much money, but the people inside looked like they truly cared. Room 314, Alara said, walking to the elevators. Her steps slowed the closer they got to the room. Caius could see she was worried again. Are you okay? He asked softly. I'm scared, she said. Not about the money anymore. You fixed that. But it's always hard to see her like this. The elevator doors opened, and they walked out into a hallway that smelled clean and a little like medicine. They walked slowly to room 314. Alara got slower with every step. She doesn't know you're coming, she whispered. I wanted to tell her about the treatment first, then explain everything else, Caius nodded. Whatever you want. I'm here. Alara stopped at the door and held the handle. Promise me something. What? He asked. Promise you'll see her. Not just as a sick lady, but as the strong person she's always been. I promise, he said. Alara pushed the door open. The room was small, with a big bed and machines. The woman in the bed looked like Alara, but thinner and tired. Her dark skin looked pale. But when she saw Alara, her face lit up. Baby girl, she said with a soft smile. I didn't know you were coming tonight. I have news, Mama, Alara said, going to her and holding her hand. Good news. The older woman looked at Caius and Victoria. She noticed their fancy clothes. And who are your friends? She asked. Mama, this is Caius Bruce and his mother, Victoria. Mr. Bruce is helping us. The woman looked worried. Helping us how, baby? Alara held her hand tighter. The treatment, Mama. We can pay for it now. Caius realized he didn't even know her name. The woman looked at Alara and Caius, her eyes worried. Alara Williams, what did you do? Nothing bad, Mama, I promise. Mr. Bruce gave me a job, a really good job, and it comes with money to pay for everything. A job? Her mother asked. What kind of job? Personal assistant, Alara said quickly. At his company. The woman looked straight at Caius. He could feel her strong motherly stare. Mr. Bruce, she said, can I speak to you alone? Mama, Alara began, but Caius said, it's okay, of course, Mrs. Williams. Muriel Williams, she said, pointing to 2 chairs by the window. Please sit. Caius walked over while Alara and Victoria talked quietly nearby. Murray looked right at him. Mr. Bruce, she said softly, I may be sick, but I'm not dumb. Men like you don't just give out jobs with big money. What did you want from my daughter? Her question surprised him. She was very sick, but her first thought was protecting Alara. Mrs. Williams, I understand why you're worried, he said gently. Do you? She asked. Do you know what it feels like to watch your child give up everything to save you? To lay in this bed, knowing she might do something she shouldn't just to keep you alive? Her voice was full of pain. Caius felt it deep inside. I do understand, he said quietly. More than you might think. Then tell me the truth. What did you want from her at the beginning? Caius was silent. He looked at her, knowing she was a strong and loving mom. I wanted her to be a surrogate, he said, to carry my baby. Murray closed her eyes, her face showing both sadness and understanding. And now, he said, I want to help her save you. I want her to have the life she deserves, without giving up anything she shouldn't. Why? She whispered. Caius looked over at Alara, who was watching. Because she showed me what love really looks like. She was ready to give up everything for you. That kind of love should be protected. Murray watched him closely. You care about her. Yes, Caius said simply. She's special, my Alara, Murray said with a soft smile. Even as a little girl, she helped everyone. She shared her lunch, helped animals, and stood up for kids being bullied, but she never lets anyone help her. Maybe it's time she learned, Caius said. Murray smiled again, her first real smile. Maybe you're the one to teach her. Just then, Alara came over. Is everything okay? Murray reached out and took her hand. Everything's perfect, baby girl. Mr. Bruce and I were just getting to know each other. Alara looked surprised. And I think you made a very good choice, Murray said, smiling, in more ways than one. Before Alara could ask what that meant, Murray continued, Now tell me about this treatment. When can we start? For the next hour, they talked about doctors and treatments. Caius watched how close the mother and daughter were. They didn't need many words to understand each other. He could see how much they loved each other. This, he thought, is what real family looks like, what real love looks like. When it was time to leave, Murray held Caius's hand. Mr. Bruce, she said softly, thank you. Not just for the money, but for really seeing her. For seeing who she is. Thank you, Caius said, for raising her. As they walked to the elevator, Alara was very quiet. Then she looked at him. What did she say to you? Caius thought for a moment. She asked what I wanted from you. She wanted to make sure I wasn't using you because you were desperate. And what did you tell her? I told her the truth, that I did want something before, but then I met you, and now all I want is to protect what you have, not take it away. Alara smiled softly. She likes you. How do you know? She called you Caius when we left. She only does that with people she trusts. The elevator opened, and they stepped into the cool evening air. The city lights sparkled around them. Caius, Alara said, stopping on the sidewalk. What happens now? I mean, I have the job and my mom's going to be okay. But what about us? The question floated in the air between them. I don't know, he said honestly. I've never been in a situation like this. What situation? Meeting someone who makes me want to be a better man. The words came out before he could stop them. Alara looked surprised, but her eyes also showed hope. Caius, she whispered. I know it's complicated. We work together now. I don't want it to be awkward, but I also can't pretend that what I feel for you is just about work. She looked into his eyes. What do you feel for me? Caius took a step closer to Alara. He could see little golden spots in her dark eyes. I feel like I've been sleeping through my life, he said. But when I met you, I woke up. You showed me something special without even trying. He stopped to find the right words. I think I might be falling in love with you. The words felt big and important. They stayed between them like a rope hanging in the air. Alara looked at him, her lips open just a little, and she was breathing softly. This is crazy, she whispered. Very crazy, he said, nodding. We just met today. I know. You're my boss. I know that too, and you're... She looked at his fancy suit, his perfect hair, and the fancy car waiting to take them home. You're you, and I'm me. Yes, he said gently, and you're the most amazing person I've ever met. Before Alara could say anything, and before either of them could think too much, Caius leaned down and kissed her. The kiss was soft and gentle, like a question. And when Alara kissed him back, when she put her hands on his chest and stood on her toes to reach him, Caius felt something click inside him. Something that had been missing his whole life was now there. When they stopped kissing, they were both breathing fast. This changes everything, Alara said. Good, Caius replied. I want everything to change. 6 months later, the autumn sun came through the big windows in Caius's office. Golden light filled the room. Alara sat at the desk reading papers. Her hair was tied back, and she wore a blue dress that made her look smart and strong. She had changed so much in 6 months. But what Caius noticed the most was that her kind heart was still the same. The Patterson family's story is so sad, she said. Their daughter needs a heart transplant, but their insurance won't pay for the medicine after the surgery. This is exactly why we started this foundation. Caius smiled. He loved seeing her care so much. They had started a group called the Morale Williams Foundation, named after Alara's mom. It had begun 3 months ago with Caius's company helping to pay for it. In just a short time, they had helped 17 families pay for their medical needs. Alara had worked hard every day. She was full of energy and passion. Approve it, Caius said. Give them whatever they need. It's $150,000 over 2 years, she said. Approve it. He said again, that's why we have the money. Alara smiled and shook her head. You can't say yes to everyone just because you love helping people. We need to make smart choices. That's why I have you, Caius said, walking around her chair. You make sure my good heart turns into good decisions. The past 6 months had been like a careful dance. They were professional during work, but after work they would talk for hours, walk in the park, and have long dinners. They were careful not to rush. Alara had told Caius that she wanted to show she could do her job well before they started anything more personal. Caius waited. Even though it was hard, he respected her choice. Then 3 weeks ago, Alara's mom, Mireille, got the news that her cancer was gone. That moment changed something between them. The hard times were over. Now, something stronger was growing. Speaking of your mom, Caius said, checking the time. Don't you need to leave? You're picking her up from therapy at 4? Alara looked at him and smiled. I wanted to talk to you about that. What about it? She's moving in with me next week, into the new apartment. The company had helped Alara find a nice apartment near the office. It had space for her mom to stay and rest while she got better. It was much nicer than the small place Alara used to live in. That's great, Caius said. How does she feel about it? She's happy, nervous, thankful. Alara turned her chair to face him. Her eyes looked serious, but mostly she keeps asking me when I'll stop being stubborn about you. Caius raised his eyebrows. She likes you. A lot. She thinks you're perfect for me, and she's not shy about saying it. Your mom is smart, he said. She is. Yesterday, she told me something I hadn't thought about before. What did she say? Alara stood and looked out the window. The city was shining below. Caius could see her reflection in the glass. She looked beautiful, strong, and completely different from the worried woman who first came into his office. She told me I've spent so much time trying not to take too much from you that I forgot I might be giving you something too. Caius's heart beat faster. Let me finish, Alara said. She reminded me that love isn't only about giving, it's also about accepting love. And I've been so busy trying to prove I can do everything alone that I didn't think about what we could build together. She turned around and there were soft tears in her eyes. I've been thinking about what you said that night, about falling in love with me. I meant every word, he said. I know, and I should have told you then that I was falling in love with you too. The words hit Caius hard. I was scared, she said. Scared my feelings were just thankfulness. Scared I wasn't good enough for your world. Scared that if I loved you and it didn't work, I'd lose everything. But now I know my love is real. It's not about what you did for me, it's about who you are. You saw a woman who needed help and you protected her. You meet my mom every Saturday morning for breakfast. You built this foundation to help others. She came closer. Tears were in her eyes. You made me believe I deserved love, not for what I could give, but for who I am. You do deserve love, Caius said softly. You deserve everything. So do you, she said, touching his face. You deserve love not for what you give, but for the good man you are. Then she kissed him. It wasn't like their first kiss. This one was strong, sure, and full of promise. When they stopped, they were both out of breath. I love you, Alara said. Not your money, not your gifts, just you. The man who reads poetry when no one's watching, who knows the names of all the building guards, who cried when my mom called you her son. I love you too, Caius said. I love your strength, your kindness, your honesty. I love how you make me want to be a better man every day. You already are, she said. You always were. You just needed someone to remind you. He kissed her again, deeper this time, and something inside him felt calm. He felt like he was home. Marry me, he said softly. Alara pulled back. What? Marry me, he said again, smiling. I know it's fast and crazy, but I want a life with you. I want to grow old with you. I want to raise kids with your heart and your strength. I want to wake up every day beside the woman who chose to love me. Tears ran down Alara's face. She was smiling. Are you sure? Really sure? Because once you marry me, you're stuck with my mom calling you early to talk about flowers and me bringing home every sad case from the foundation, and I don't understand why anyone needs more than 3 pairs of shoes. I'm counting on it, he laughed. Especially the shoe part. Think of all the closet space we'll save. Us, she said, testing the word. I like the sound of that. That's a yes, she cried and jumped into his arms. A big yes with no takebacks. He spun her around and they both laughed with joy. When he put her down, she smiled and said seriously, I have one condition. Anything, he said. The wedding has to be small, just family and friends, no big fancy party. Done. What else? No prenup. Caius was surprised. Alara, that's not needed. I trust you. I know, but I want everyone to know I married you for you, not for money. I want you to know that when I say for richer or poorer, I mean it. Caius was quiet. Her words touched his heart. You're amazing, he said. No, she smiled. I'm just a woman who learned what real love is, and I learned it from you. 1 year later. In a small garden behind Morel's new house, white roses and fairy lights decorated the yard. About 30 people sat on folding chairs, watching Alara walk down the aisle. Caius waited under an arch of flowers that Morel had grown herself. Alara wore a simple white dress, her hair down, holding a bouquet of her mom's roses. But what made Caius's heart skip was the joy on her face. She looked at him like he was her whole world. She reached him and took his hands. They fit perfectly together. Dearly beloved, the minister began. But Caius barely heard. He was too busy remembering every little thing. The way the sun shined in Alara's eyes, the way she bit her lip not to cry, and the way her mother smiled happily in the front row. Then the minister said, the couple has written their own vows. Caius, took a deep breath, and began to speak. Alara, he started about 1.5 years ago. I thought I knew what was important in life. I believed being rich and having many things meant I was doing well. But then you came into my office. You were ready to give up everything for love. You showed me what being truly rich means. He held her hands and looked into her eyes. Being rich means having someone who believes in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. It means working together to build something great. It means facing hard times side by side and not being alone. His voice became stronger. You didn't just save your mom's life, Alara. You saved mine too. You helped me become a better person. You loved me, and that love helped me grow. So today I promise to spend every day trying to be the kind of man who deserves your love. I promise to take care of your dreams like you took care of mine. I promise to love you not just for who you are, but also for who you helped me become. Alara was crying now, but her smile was bright like sunshine. Then she spoke. Her voice was clear and full of love. Caius, when I was little, my mom used to say there are two kinds of people who see problems and people who see possibilities. You taught me that the best people are the ones who turn problems into good things for others. She stopped for a moment to think. You could have taken advantage of me when I was scared and needed help, but you didn't. You helped me. You could have thought I didn't know enough, but you saw that I had potential. You could have used our foundation just to get tax benefits, but you made it your passion. Her voice became soft and warm, but most of all, you didn't see me as someone weak who needed to be saved. You saw me as someone strong and worth loving. You gave me the chance to believe in myself. Then you loved me for the woman I became. She kissed his hands gently. So today I promise to always try to deserve your trust. I promise to challenge you to be your best like you did for me. And I promise to love you not just for what you've given me, but for the wonderful person you chose to be. When the minister said they were husband and wife, they kissed gently and sweetly. It was a kiss full of love and promise for the future. They turned to their small group of family and friends. Caius saw Mireille sitting in the front row. She was crying, but she looked healthy and happy. The special treatment had worked better than anyone had hoped. The woman who had been very sick was now ready to dance at her daughter's wedding. Later, as the sun was setting and little lights twinkled around them, Caius and Alara danced slowly together. Mireille had insisted on putting a dance floor in the garden. The music playing seemed to come from somewhere deep in their hearts. No regrets? Alara asked, resting her head on his shoulder. Only one, Caius said. She looked at him, a little worried. What is it? I wish I had found you sooner. 39 years is a long time. Alara laughed, her voice full of joy. Well, I needed those 25 years to become someone worth finding. You were always worth it, he said, spinning her slowly. You just needed a chance to shine. As they danced, surrounded by the people who loved them, Caius thought about how far they had come. Two people from very different lives brought together by chance had chosen to see the good instead of the bad. Their foundation was doing great. It had helped over 100 families in the first year. Alara was going to business school to learn how to run it better. Mireille was now free from cancer and had become like a grandmother to many neighborhood kids. And Caius had learned something important, that the best kind of wealth wasn't money, but giving to others. What are you thinking about? Alara asked. I'm thinking how lucky I am that you stepped out of that taxi 1.5 years ago. Well, Alara smiled, I'm glad you changed your mind about me. Best decision I ever made, he said, dipping her gently. Really? She laughed. What was the best? Asking you to marry me. As the evening came to an end and guests went home, Alara and Caius stood in the garden with Mireille. She was picking up the rose centerpieces she had made. Thank you, Mama, Alara said, hugging her mother, for everything, for teaching me to recognize real love, for showing me I deserve happiness, for teaching me what strength means. My sweet girl, Murray said, fixing Alara's hair like she did when she was little. You gave me the best gift. You let me live to see you happy. You let me dance at your wedding. And you let me meet the man who loves you the way you deserve. She turned to Caius. Her eyes were wet with tears. And you, my son, because that's what you are now. You gave my daughter happiness. There is no bigger gift. Soon, Caius and Alara got ready to leave for their honeymoon. It was just a simple week in a quiet cabin in the woods. Alara had wanted it that way. She wanted to spend their first days as husband and wife somewhere peaceful, where they could just enjoy being together. Caius felt something deep inside, something he had never felt before, a feeling of being complete. He had started this journey wanting a child to carry his name and money, but instead he found something even better. He found a partner who made him want to be better. He found a purpose bigger than himself. And he found a family made not by blood, but by love and choice. What if you started seeing people not as problems, but as possibilities? Think about it. How has love changed the way you see the world? As Caius stood in Murray's garden, holding his wife's hand with the sweet smell of roses in the air, he finally understood what it meant to be truly rich. It wasn't about money. It was about love. Sometimes the biggest changes in life come on the worst days. Caius thought he was looking for a business deal, but he found love. Alara thought she was losing everything, but she found her future. What started as a very hard time became something wonderful. And when we choose love instead of fear and kindness instead of taking, everyone wins.